Well, aside from lobbing a myriad personal attacks at each other, President Biden and former President Trump spent last week's debate laying out what they do for the country economically, if given another term. Joining us now to talk about the different plans, Hoover Institution distinguished visiting fellow Kevin Hassett. He served as a senior counselor to President Trump in the White House and was chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, good morning, Joe.
Is it too simplistic to say we got two guys? One's going to blow out the deficit, spending like a drunken sailor on social programs or whatever, investments, and the other's going to blow out the deficit with tax cuts. And, either way, we're headed to the same place. Just the age-old Republican versus Democratic strategies.
Well, I think it's inaccurate. I agree that Joe Biden doesn't seem to have much of a plan on reducing spending. And recall, Joe, that spending right now is about $1 trillion a year higher than we thought it would be looking ahead from 2019 before COVID. So what Biden and the Democrats have done is they took the COVID spending and then they decided to use it on other stuff. So what that does for a potential new occupant of the White House is it creates an enormous policy opportunity, because you've got almost $10 trillion over 10 years of spending that you could reduce, and then you can do other stuff with that, like save Social Security and extend the Trump tax cuts. And then finally, on the Biden side, don't forget that he says that he wants to renew the Trump tax cuts for people making less than $400,000 a year. And so in terms of the cost of the tax cuts, before you get to dynamic scoring, Joe Biden wants to renew most of them. And so most of the cost is things like the child credit and stuff for people that go to people in the middle class.
And it's the old FedEx commercial. Donald Trump likes tariffs, but we like tariffs. Because I said it this way. Our tariffs are targeted. They're both, there's tariffs from both. But I think there would be more if you put a tariff on everything from Donald Trump, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that that's still a work in progress. But what I expect is very likely to happen if there's a reconciliation bill next year is that it will include something like President Trump's idea of a reciprocal tariff act, where if there's a company out there or a country out there that has big tariffs on us, then we match those tariffs. If they have no tariffs on us, then maybe we don't. But he has talked about an across-the-board tariff, but he's also talked about wanting things to be more reciprocal. And my guess is that once you start moving Congress, that the reciprocal idea is going to be the more popular of the two.
And it's really, we've just seen this movie again and again and again. So to handle the built-up debt that we have, we're going to need growth. I don't see any other way.
Yeah.
Do you think that if Trump were to win back the presidency and would cut a lot of the regulations that we've seen layered on the economy during the Biden years, and do you think that trying to stimulate business with tax cuts or however he wants to do it, do you think that would be the way for growth? Because Democrats think the way that you engender growth is through investment in infrastructure, in chips, and the transition to green energy. They think you got to spend to reap the rewards. Which way works? Does either way work?
Well, it's all about demand and supply, as you know, Joe. And so what you have to do is you have to feed supply as well as demand. And what the Democrats have been doing is they've been spending on stuff, but they've also been attacking supply with higher taxes and higher regulation. I think the top priority for the tax bill next year should be to return the expensing measures to law, which are expiring. And so if you buy a machine, you get to expense it. That's really, really important for driving up supply. In fact, equipment investment last year in the U.S. was negative, in part because of the expiring expensing. And then the second thing is that we've got the small business 199A deduction, which allows small businesses to get some of that benefit from the lower corporate rate. Well, that's expiring too. And so there are a couple of rifle shots, right at destroying supply on the tax code side. And then Joe Biden is launching new economically significant regulations at about double the rate of President Obama, who was the previous record holder. And of course, that would stop in its tracks the minute that President Trump were in the White House. And so there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about supply if we can get some policy changes in there.